Okay, we're going to be looking at how to do some of our geometric collage shapes today. We're going to start with 5 colors that you're going to have to pick out once you leave the carpet space. You're also going to be working with 5 geometric templates. We're going to have, let's see if you guys remember your shapes. What is this one? This one is a rectangle. We know because these 2 sides are the same length and these 2 sides are the same length, but not all 4. Now, if all 4 of them were the same length all the way around, then we have that's right, we have a square. What's this one? A circle. And then what is this one? A triangle. We know it's a triangle because it has 3 sides. 1, 2, 3. What about this one? That one's a triangle too. It just looks a little bit different from the others. So I'm going to move these out of our way. I'm going to pick green as my first color today. And when we're using our templates on our paper, we want to try to line them up as much as possible with the edge so we don't waste paper and we can share paper with our friends. So for example, I'm going to trace just that one line because this one and this one are already part of my paper. So I only had to trace this one, and then I'm going to follow that line. Now remember, I use a black marker so that you guys can see it on my YouTube channel. You guys are going to be using pencils. So there are my first 2 shapes. I'm going to set that over aside, and now see how much of this paper's left. I can hand this to my neighbor, and my neighbor could now cut a triangle out of that, and then somebody else could fit another triangle in the middle in there maybe. So keep using that paper and sharing it with neighbors until it's all gone. And put that one up out of my way. There we go. And then the next color, I think, blue. And I'll do my rectangle on blue. Again, I'm going to use the natural edges of my paper and my template together so that I don't have to trace all the way around. I might just trace part way like this. And then I'm going to cut it out. Just like that. And now I have extras that I can hand to my neighbors who will be able to trace some of their templates on there. There's my, let's see, I'm going to speed up the film for the rest of this. Okay, now that I have all of my shapes cut out, I'm going to move my templates off to the side, and I'm going to use my black sheet of paper. And kind of like we were looking at our artist, he had all of those shapes all over his canvas in different places. Let's see, so if I just throw them on like this, I think, well, I don't want the 2 triangles next to each other, so maybe I'll move this over here and this over here. I kind of like that, but these lines all match. I want it to be a little more crazy looking, so I'm going to spread those out and not make any lines match. Maybe something more like that. Then I'm going to glue down my pieces. And I'm going to use my black glue. I have a little bit of that left over from my last project. And you notice I go really thin along those edges, so kind of a dot dot, not a lot type pattern. And then I'm going to gently push down to make sure it sticks out all the way. If it leaks out of the edge a little bit, that's okay. We'll just wipe it off. And then I also want to make sure I'm putting the glue on the side where I was tracing, so I don't see any of those pencil lines. So if you can see the edge of this one a little bit has some of that black marker on there. If I put the glue on that side and turn it over, I can't see that black marker anymore. So I'm going to do that. See how I'm going along those edges? It's because I want the edges to stick down. I'm not worried about the middle sticking down. I know it's going to stick down because all of this part is already sticking down. So I'm just worried about getting glue on the edges of things. Whoops, that one got really close to the edge up there. I think that one's going to leak a little bit. So when I go to put that one down, I'm going to slide it this way. Whoops, there we go. Gently tap, tap. Oop. One more shape. Do that one this direction. And this one up here is still sticking up a little. I didn't get enough glue. I'm going to just a touch right there. Smooth it out. There we go. And now I'm going to put this on the drying rack. But first, I have to put my name in the back. I have special construction paper crayons we're going to be using today. So make sure you flip it over and put your name on the back. And you'll notice with these, they show up really nice on the construction paper. So you can imagine when we start using them on this side next class how awesome it's going to look. Go ahead and put those on the drying rack. Welcome back to part 2 of our project. I've had this on the drying rack and it is now dry. I picked up some corresponding or matching construction paper crayons. So I have a blue for blue, red for red, green for green, orange for orange, and yellow for yellow on this project. But I'm not going to start with those colors around those particular shapes. I don't want them to blend in and match. I want them to stand out and be a little different. So for example, I'm going to start with my red crayon and my construction paper crayon. And as you can see, if you follow around the edge on the black paper, that construction paper crayon really shows up. You might have to push a little bit harder than your average crayon, but it's going to give you this nice, colorful line. And you can make it a little bit thick. It should be about the thickness of a pencil or a crayon, so if you're not sure, just put your crayon on top, see if it's that thick while you're coloring. If not, you can add a little bit more to it. We want to try and keep these nice and neat, so go slow. Follow those lines. If you want, I'll have some rulers out. You could even use rulers if you're worried about the lines being neat enough. So I used my red. I'm going to set that to the side. Now I'm going to pick maybe my orange. And again, I'm going to pick a shape that's not orange. I want it to be a different color. I'm going to go around that shape first. La-di-da-di-da. And I'm going to keep doing this until I have a new color around each one of my shapes. Let's fast forward that. So now I have finished my first layer of everything around here. Each of these shapes has a different color around it. So from here on out, I'm going to keep changing colors and I'm going to keep adding to these. But I don't want them to smash into each other. So for example, I did red here already. Now I'm going to do orange next. But when I get down here, you notice it's going to bump into this. I don't want a color on top of it. So here is what's going to happen. When I get to down here, I'm going to stop at that little edge. I'm not going to color on top. I'm just going to stop when I bump there. This one's going to look like it goes off the edge of my paper a little bit. This one's going to go off the edge of my paper on both sides. So we're going to imagine like it keeps going where it's supposed to. And then down here, I'm going to start and come up. I'm not coloring on top of this one. I'm starting next to it. There goes our bell for the morning. So I'm going to put that one next to it. Just like that. Green, I think I want to do blue next after green. Same thing, I'm not going to color on top of this or on top of this. I'm going to squeeze it in between where it still fits and then make my line bigger out here, just as thick as a crayon like it's supposed to be. And then this one, I'm going to be careful not to color on top of this. I'm going to stop at that edge and then I'm going to start on the next edge. I'm just going to skip over it like you were jumping over a little stream. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to stop at this edge. I'm not going to color on top of it. So anywhere they're going to bump, you're going to skip over it like it's not there. Let's see this in fast motion for the rest. We're going to keep So now as you can see, I have all of my geometric shapes laid out and traced. And my triangle keeps getting bigger. It still has this triangle shape that radiates, and a rectangle shape that radiates, another triangle radiation shape, a circle radiator, and a square that radiates. That means it keeps growing bigger as they go through. And as you can tell, it's very colorful with our rainbow pattern. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And you can see where things start to look like they overlap one another a little bit on top of the other layers. That's that neat effect that we're going for. This is beautiful, you guys. When you finish these up today, we're going to put them on the turn-in shelf in the back of the classroom. Thanks.